I fully commit myself to understand, to sharpen, and to take action my vision.
We tend to do away the knowledge we get from the seminars and forums, but for this, I have a different perspective.
I'm leaving here committed to extremely work hard to develop an incredibly appealing leadership personality.
I will apply this knowledge practically to better position myself for leadership and also to enhance my brand personality.
I commit to ensure that I stand out to be a leader, even in the closet when no one is watching me.
I'm going to take charge and lead from the front.
Kwa hali na mali, lazima nihakikishe watu wengine pia information kama imewafikia. So anybody who wants to partner, let's start the journey.
It's a three-step process. Create vision, sharpen the vision, and build momentum. And in politics, building momentum is to bring everybody to improve with you, to sharpen your vision, and eventually you will find that you're no longer a single person chasing a dream. It is a whole army of people behind you.
One of our key pillars of our work is about democratic values. And because of our engagement with the different political parties, we decided to focus on the emerging political leaders, because we've realized that a lot of time new entrants into politics require a lot of mentorship, they require political education, and that is why we organized this training to make sure that as an emerging leader, you're prepared for political leadership. You understand the process, you understand what it requires to be a political leader, especially the values of democracy, because the values of democracy reflect so much what a leader needs to do to make sure the work that they do is basically serving the society.
And I am a great believer in youth leadership. But I also believe that young leaders need to be mentored, need to be helped to plan their politics, to come up with ideas and solutions and responsible politics. And when Friedrich Naumann Foundation joined with us to create this program, we've achieved something really, really nice, because everybody who's in there is feeling very empowered, is feeling very energetic and challenged intellectually on how to become better politicians and more responsible politicians.
We brought together experts, political experts, international and local experts. We are working with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is the IEBC. We've had the legal officer coming here to explain to us what is the national government, what is the local government, what do you require to become a member of parliament, to become a senator, to become a governor, because sometimes we've seen challenges when young people are vying for different political seats. They start defining the roles of another different political seat other than the one that they want to vie. So for this education, it's for them to understand so that they are well informed. They understand the different elective seats, the roles that they play, they understand the boundaries, basically which audience or which voter are you appealing to. And besides that, it's also about what is leadership in itself, because to become a politician, especially to get to an elective seat, then you really must understand what are principles or what are values of a good political leader. And that is why the Friedrich Naumann Foundation is more than happy to partner with the Orange Democratic Movement, which is one of the partners we have in the country.
We have focused on quite a bit. The first day of the session was very much focused on understanding who these young individuals are as leaders, what their underpinning values are, what their visions for their communities are, the focus and need for proactive leadership to take over from reactive leadership in Kenya. And then that has moved into a quite engaging and enjoyable session on developing a personal brand framework for leaders that are particularly looking to be aspirant candidates in next year's general election, and looking at the tools one needs to present a compelling brand to the electorate.
The participants were, number one, pleasantly surprised at how impactful this whole session was, how it challenged them to think differently, how it encouraged them to start preparing themselves politically in a much more sophisticated manner. And I think all the participants, when I talk to them and I ask them, was this of good value to you? Without exception, everybody is extremely encouraged by their participation in this thing. Very, very motivated.
Success for this program will rest and look like, firstly, with leaders that have been in the room equipped with the tools to go forward and empower themselves to, firstly, with a knowledge of who they are, inherent as leaders, but also with some practical tools of how to make their leadership more effective and how to, in particular, develop their personal brands and take their personal brands to a next level that can actually help inspire people to follow them and to help achieve some very, very important visions and plans that can certainly advance the coastal region. So ultimately, I think success is effective leadership that results in actions in the respective communities that these leaders lead.
I aspire to be a leader one day in this nation, a political leader. And I've seen leaders in this country who inspire me. And I've seen leaders in this country who the only thing you ask yourself what actually inspired them to be leaders, and you can't see anything because the areas they come from are deteriorating even after they were elected and giving a lot of promises. I don't want to be one of those. I want to be among those leaders who bring a difference. And I know this can only be done by learning what people are doing elsewhere and becoming better as a leader.
I was surprised. I had some very interesting questions put before me that got me to think. I hadn't really thought about it before. Who are you as a leader? What values do you stand for as a leader? What is the one value that you will never ever compromise on as a leader? These are questions that, they're floating out there, but maybe never took very seriously before this session. And I think the Friedrich Naumann Foundation does very well in asking these introspective questions and making you look internally as a leader. What do you stand for? When things go bad, when things are stressful, who do you become at that time?
The main challenge that I was facing is that there seems to be a template of how we run politics, which is sort of becoming trite, and we all go along with that. So we lack the individual political branding that, let's say, can make you stand out. Because right now, if you ask a person your first step when you want to vie, what will you do? Just look at what is being done and what has not been done, and then you just start campaigning against that. But there is more to that we have learned here. We have learned about tailoring your speeches. We have learned about how to brand and position yourself to the masses.
Amongst my peers, I used to believe that I'm one of the most politically literate person. And I was challenged when I was asked very simple questions about what is happening in the country, about regulations, about how laws are made. I thought I knew all this. But I was challenged further to be able to know more about how the nation is run. And the other thing is that I realized that most people say that I don't love politics, I don't care about politics. But I've just realized from this training that politics is the way of life. And if really you want to make an impact, if you want your voice to be heard, you have to participate. So for me, this is one of the best takeaway from this entire training.
I've gained about how to speak in public, how to present your issues, and also how a good leader is supposed to be. Must be accountable. Sometimes we have to take ownership of things that have been done by either our staffs or ourselves. That will give the electorates credibility in your tenure.
Well, actually, in the workshop was quite comprehensive, and there's even a few scenarios that we got to run during this workshop that I fully intend on actually bringing when dealing with the community leaders, right? So, when doing mass development, there are stakeholders that are not just the people in the neighborhood, but also the government you're dealing with, the banks, the insurance policies, and the insurance companies that all get involved, right? So it's not just a one-track like answer, right? So it's about how do you bring everybody together and how do you make a cohesive working environment so that we're able to accomplish our goals.
Every leader in this nation, or anybody who wants to aspires to be a leader, all of them, I believe that they should be able to go through a program such as this. Because only when you go through a program such as this, do you clearly see things. Because when you get into parliament, you might never get an opportunity for somebody to train you. But as we are getting training, even before we go there, so that when you go there, you know clearly what the vision is and how you're going to deliver.
My call to action, to be honest, is that for a long time, I thought I was quite good at stakeholder management and actually, stakeholder engagement and really bringing people together. It wasn't until I came here that I understood that maybe I didn't understand it fully. But my call to action is I think anybody who has the opportunity to continue learning should definitely do it. And my call to action would be to actually push all the people who are able to attend the training such as this to actually make the effort to go, because it is time that you take and commit, but what you gain out of it is immensely immeasurable. So that is something that I would be using as my call to action.